Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you potatoes coconut stew. You're gonna need a sweet potato, a cup when diced, Irish potato, half between a cup when diced, 3 garlic cloves. Visit JamaicanDinners.com for the recipe. An onion, stalk of scallion, or you can use chive instead. A teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt. 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. You can use any of these herbs fresh. A tablespoon of basil, sweet basil dried. Teaspoon of oregano. And a teaspoon of marjoram. A tablespoon between 2 distilled white vinegar or white vinegar or apple cider. A 244 grams of corn kernels, sweet corn kernels, small can. A teaspoon of grounded rosemary, make sure it's grounded fine. 1/4 teaspoon of dried pimento berries. You can use whole clove instead or peppercorn. 1/2 scotch bonnet pepper or 1/4 teaspoon of shredded red pepper. Visit JamaicanDinners.com for the recipe. And this recipe will be in Vegan Dinners Cookbook. I'm starting with the herbs today. So measure and add a tablespoon of dried parsley. I'm putting all my herbs together on this plate. Tablespoon dried basil. And remember now, you can use any of these herbs fresh. Just chop it fine. Teaspoon marjoram. For now, keep herbs separate. Teaspoon oregano. Don't be intimidated by the herbs. The herbs give you the sense of cooking meat. Measure and add a teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt. This is our herbs. Put it aside for later. Oh yes, and a teaspoon of grounded rosemary. Be sure the rosemary leaves are grounded fine. Now, put to heat big enough saucepan. Put the stove gauge on low, almost off low. If you don't have access to dried pimento berries, you can always use whole cloves. Use about 3 or 4 whole cloves or peppercorn. Add 4 tablespoons of cooking oil. I use coconut oil, or a little bit less than 1/4 cup. The spoon that I'm holding measures a little bit less than 1/4 cup, so about that spoonful of cooking oil. Measure and add 1/4 teaspoon of dried pimento berries, or alternatively use whole clove or peppercorn, or both. Put it in the oil. Keeping the stove gauge on very low reduces the risk of the berries bursting and hurting you. Allow it to flavor the oil for several minutes. While we wait for that, we're going to prepare our seasonings. This is the scallion. Remember now, if you don't have scallion, you can always use clove. No, chive. Alright, do what I'm doing. Remove dying leaves from the scallion. Cut off ends. The root end and the tip of the leaf that's dying. Cut that off. This recipe will be in Vegan Dinners Cookbook, along with plenty other delicious recipes. And the thing with this cookbook, you see, each recipe I'll give you about 5 between 10 different ways that you can make the same recipe for different dinner ideas. Do what I'm doing. Peel garlic cloves. Cut off ends. Trim spoilage, if there's any. Now, wash seasonings clean. Add enough water in a bowl. Drizzle several drops of distilled white vinegar in the bowl of water. Wash the scallion clean and the garlic cloves. Give your vegetables a final rinse. It's best if you do this part on the fresh running water. After that, dice scallion fine. Watch your berries in the oil flavoring. Just remember it's there. It's not gonna burn. It's just flavoring the oil. The stove's flame is on low. So it's just flavoring the oil. That way when you eat this meal, you don't have to worry about stopping to take out any berry. You can just eat straight through. Dice the scallion fine. Grind garlic to puree. Keep ingredients separate. The berries are just about ready. It took around 5 minutes to flavor the oil. Turn the stove off. Just let it sit and flavor the oil some more until we finish preparing our vegetables. Then we'll take it out. This is called time management. Next, peel onion. What I like to do is cut the onion in half. It's easier to handle. Remove the brown leaf. First layer of the onion is the strongest. Only remove it if it is spoiling. Slice onions. Or you can dice it too as well. Put this aside for later. Now, peel the potatoes. Alright, this stew is called potatoes coconut stew. And this recipe is new. I did a potato rundown in the Rastafarian Vegetarian Dinners Cookbook. This recipe now is a little bit different. I'm adding Irish potato to this one, so it's potato coconut stew. Wash the potatoes before you peel it. I forgot to wash the sweet potato, but it's okay. I'm just peeling it. Peel potato thin to the skin. The sweet potato will be a little bit challenging because it's tough. So just be careful and mindful that you're using a sharp knife. Peel sweet potato cautiously, thin to the skin. Meaning, try and peel just the skin off. Don't peel too much of the potato and waste the potato. Peel just the skin. You just want to get the skin. Go between the grooves. Peel sweet potato properly. So the Jamaican name for this is potato rundown. It's new by Miguel Marvin Samuels. Peel Irish potato thin to the skin. When you go to the market, get fresh, firm potatoes. It should be firm. I mean, if you take your finger and poke in it, it's hard as a rock. It shouldn't be soft in no way. If it's soft, that means it's old. So get fresh produce when you go to the market. And we're using 1 cup of diced sweet potato and 1 cup of diced Irish potato. By peeling the potatoes on a newspaper, I take this newspaper up and throw it out. Now open can of sweet corn kernels. Use your opener. If you want to do it like me, cut away from you. And once you do that, remove the water from the can of corn. Rinse it with fresh running water once. Like this. Just pour the water in the can and just shake it and rinse off that. When you put this can down, put it to the wall. Don't just put it down because you don't want to get cut. So put the cut can to the wall. Now measure and add 2 cups water. We're using 2 cups of coconut milk. But we're using the coconut milk powder, a 50-gram pack of coconut milk powder. Do what I'm doing. Add 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. You can use wine vinegar instead or apple cider. Add your 50-gram pack of coconut milk powder to the water. Mix it smooth. Next, dice potatoes. Dice, I'm starting with the sweet potato. You want to dice it big chunks, say about 1.5 between 2 inches sweet potato chunks, about half the size of your palm. This is the Irish potato, diced Irish potato, the same size. Potatoes cubes should be about quarter the size of your palm. Quarter, not half, about quarter the size of your palm. Oh yes, remember, keep them separate. Keep sweet potato separate from Irish potato. Put these aside for later. And now we're getting ready to cook, so now would be a good time to remove the berries from the heating oil. And remember, again, you can use whole clove or peppercorn instead. Once you do that, put the stove gauge on 4 medium low. Allow the oil to get hot a little bit. After 40 seconds, between a minute, add your sliced onions in the heating oil. The stove gauge is on 4 medium low. Stir it in a few times. Allow it to saute golden brown a little around the edges. Remember I was telling you about the can? When I mean you want to keep the cut part of the can to a wall or to a stove, but don't just leave it. Sometimes you gotta stay ahead of trouble, you know. Stay ahead of trouble. So when you see trouble, you try to avoid it. 40 seconds between a minute, add your diced scallion. You can use chive instead. Mixing the coconut milk. Make sure it's mixed properly. 30 seconds between a minute, add your mashed garlic to the heating oil. Stir it in a few times, allow it to saute golden brown around the edges. Now add diced sweet potatoes. After a minute of sauteing, stir it in a few times, allow it to fry. Just allow it to fry for a minute. Stir it in. Allow. Get the saucepan's lid ready. Have it close by. After a minute, add the herbs. Add herbal. Different herbs mixed together is called herbal. So add the herbal, the salt, stir it in, coat the potato with the herbs and the vegetables, the sauteed vegetables. Stir it in. Mix in the coconut's milk before you add it. Add the coconut milk in the saucepan. Stir it in. After that, use the saucepan's lid. Cover the saucepan properly. The stove's gauge is on 4, medium-low. Allow. This is it brewing away. The sweet potatoes must cook properly. Leave the lid on within the time. After 12 minutes, this is what our potato coconut stew looks like. Stir it in. It's cooked 3/4 way already. So now add the Irish potato. The Irish potato cooks in between 6 minutes. So that's why we didn't add it at the same time as the sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes takes a little bit longer to cook. Add your piece pepper. You can always use 1/4 teaspoon of shredded red pepper instead. Cover the saucepan. Allow. You can use apple cider or wine vinegar instead of white vinegar. You can also add a tablespoon between 2 cooking wine. And just to show you it works, this is for a different dinner idea. Sometimes you can use it and sometimes you cannot. So measure and add a tablespoon between 2 cooking wine to your stew. Cover it back up, cover it and allow. After 5 minutes, since we added the Irish potato, so it's 17 minutes in all. Stir it in. Leave the pan's lid off. Now would be a good time to turn the stove's gauge on 6. We're going to add the sweet corn at the end. So the objective here now is to let the water evaporate. That will make the coconut stew creamy. So leave the lid off. Leave the lid off. The stove's gauge is on high, 6. Allow. Occasionally stir in the stew gently. You don't want to break up the potato chunks. And you don't want the Irish to be soft. So the Irish will cook in between 6 minutes. This recipe will be in Vegan Dinners Cookbook. Remember, take some time out, leave a comment, and give me a 5-star because I deserve it. Three minutes now on high flame. Just kind of go through and stir your pot in, see what's going on. If you can find a pepper, if you can find a piece pepper, remove it. I can smell the aroma. The herbs that we're using in this potato coconut stew will give you the sense of eating meat. Stove gauge is on 6 high. Alright, So nearly 5 minutes now. Once the stew starts sticking to the pot's bottom, that's a sign to say it's ready. That's a sign to say the stew is thick enough. Right, it's a full 5 minutes now since we turned the stove up on 6. Stir it in. 5 and 12 plus 5, 18 plus the 6. This meal took a full 23 minutes to cook. Alright, that's it. Turn the stove off. And once you finish, you just add your corn, your canned corn kernels. Stir it in. Use the pan's lid. Cover the pan until serving. The herbs, let it smell as if cooking meat. Alright, serving time. Before serving, stir your pot in, just stir it up, moist up your stew. Take a scoop of this lovely looking potato coconut stew. Now lay it on a plate by itself. This is a true vegan dinner. Potatoes coconut stew. This is potatoes coconut stew. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. You should try cooking this potato coconut stew or potato rundown yourself. Give us feedback when you do. Alright, eating time. Alright, this meal you can have it by itself. You can have it with vegetables, like a vegetable salad. You can eat it with rice, brown rice. I was gonna say mashed potatoes, but no. You can eat it with roll, crackers. I give it a thumbs up right away. Cooking wine, can I give this meal, can I give this potato coconut stew spirit? It's delicious. It's juicy. The flavor of this is awesome. Do not be intimidated by the herbs. The herbs only give this meal flavor. It looks good too, and it's just as delicious as how it looks. This is a true vegetarian recipe. It's a healthy meal. Corn and coconut milk with the herbs blend nice. It's delicious. This is a blessed meal. Sweet potato gives this potato coconut stew a small sweet flavor. And eating it by itself just now, I'm enjoying it. The corn is nice. The corn and the coconut milk complements each other. Remember, when you get the cookbook, Vegan Dinners, stop and give me a nice comment and a 5-star, because I deserve it. They say in life you should ask for what you want, so that's why I asked for the 5-star, because that's what I want. Alright guys, until next time, bye.
Yeah man!